So it's extremely rare for Russell Brand to come out and combat or talk about another, mainstream media, but they're actually attacking him and they're accusing him of criminal mischief. Now, he hasn't gone into that, but let's just see what he says and let's see if we can comment on this. Here we go.
This channel where we critique, attack and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my...
Okay, so it's pretty obvious at this point. We know who they are. We know who the mainstream media company that would do that would be. And we also know what newspaper that would be, because these are left-winging liberal. And the question is why? Well, I think what's happening obviously is when you get too much power, you have too much eyes on you, and you have too close to the truth, which would be my guess. He has 6.5 million viewers, about to be 7 million. He is a huge voice of awakening, getting people to find out what's the truth is, what's behind everything. And when they do that, they feel threatened. So let's keep
Community
going.
festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies. And as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now,
Okay, so right there, basically, I think what he's talking about is, in all likelihood, if you've read any of his books, or just even the back of them, I've been in the bookstore and I've probably mowed through about 100 pages of the main book. I forget what it's called, but he talks about a lot about his drug use, his promiscuity, his drinking. And so what I'm guessing is they're probably accusing him from a promiscuity standpoint of maybe sleeping with people that weren't of age or that weren't consensual. And they're going to come out with that typical R word. It's just a theory on my end, but this is what happens, and people have come out and attacked people 30 years later for things like this. It happened with Trump, and when you get a lot of power, that's what happens. Let's see what he says.
During that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play?
Right. So obviously there's an agenda at play. They always have an agenda. In fact, whether it's Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050, or the Great Reset, or the WEF, or whatever agenda it is, it's an agenda for the election. It's always an agenda. They always have an agenda. They're always in on it. They're always linked to it. And now, you're looking at, in a strange way, Russell's become one of the top 5 or 10 most powerful media outlets on the planet, and they don't like it. Let's see what he says.
Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan, when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth. Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media.
The funny thing about being a conspiracy theorist is most of these conspiracies over the last, say, 5 years about, let's see, the Wuhan lab, the ballot stuffing, just anything from politics to what this global agenda is doing has actually proven to be actually true. They're not conspiracies, they're facts.
Making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous, consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature.
Right, so probably he has a cease and desist. He can't talk about it. Now there's a lawsuit going to be pending, or possibly he's going to be filing a counter lawsuit. But it sounds like that this is what they do. If they can't stop you, they'll slow you down. Ultimately, if he's right and he has witnesses and he's able to prove all these allegations that are false, it's just going to take time. And then, of course, the big question is, will YouTube, will social media slow him down and say, hey, we're not going to let him talk until they figure out whether it's true or false? I'm hoping that they don't do that. At some point, we're going to need somebody to step in, and not just Elon Musk on X and not just Rumble. We're going to need someone to step in and say, we're just going to let people have a voice and make a decision for themselves. I wish Brand all the luck in the world, and we'll stay tuned and see what happens.